Good morning, everyone. I am Siti Aina Abdul Bayan, together with my co-researcher Jewel Kappa. Our study is entitled Evolving Digital Communication, a multi-comparative analysis of Gen Z and Gen Alpha memes. As the world is persistently revolving to be more digitally developed and advanced, language is also evolving to adopt and bridge people across the globe beyond any communication limiting borders. Accordingly, language changes as society progresses, adapting to a new tools and ways of communication, according to Crystal 2001. Memes, according to Dawkins 1976, as units of cultural transmission, having become a key method of communication in today's digital world. Memes are not only funny, humorous pictures or videos. These elements are rich cultural expression that blended words, symbols, and social meanings, according to Schiffman 2014. Therefore, this study aimed to explore the meme war between Gen Z and Gen Alpha by focusing on their unique approaches to meme making and to how their applications have shaped language evolution. This study aimed to explore the multimodal feature of Gen Z and Gen Alpha memes and how language reflect linguistic generational differences. Specifically, it sought to answer the following questions. First, what linguistic feature distinguish memes created by Gen Alpha and Gen Z? Second, what can the analysis of meme language reveal about the broader shift in digital communication norms? Let's proceed to the theoretical framework. So the study employed multimodal analysis as its primary method that examined how multiple modes of communication such as text, visuals, layout, and design work together to create meaning. According to Chris and Van Leeuwen 2006, communication in the digital age was rarely confirmed a single mode. Instead, it relied on the interplay of various modes to convey complex messages. By applying multimodal analysis, this study has investigated how Gen Zs and Gen Alphas use distinct combination of text and visual to create memes that reflected their generational identities and communication preferences. This study focused on how unique multimodal strategies employed by each generation embodied their digital influency and cultural values. The study aimed to provide valuable insight into how generational differences are manifested in digital communication, particularly through the use of memes. Through examining the multimodal features of Gen Z and Gen Alpha memes, the result of the study sought to contribute for deeper understanding of how these generations utilize language and visual elements to express their identities and engage with evolving social trends. As there was an obvious lack of study on the generational distinction of memes, and the findings may provide a comprehensive perspective on how memes function as a powerful tool for conveying ideas, humor, and social commentary in the digital age, encouraging an enhanced appreciation for integration of multimodal discourse in modern communication.
For the research methodology, this study sought to explore the linguistic features in the selected Gen Z and Gen Alpha memes. So, as a comparative study, this has employed a qualitative research design that was framed on Chris and Van Leeuwen's visual grammar. This multimodal analysis sought to examine how these generations have utilized language and visual elements to communicate. Therefore, the methodology included the collection and analysis of memes from various social media platforms. Therefore, the corpus of the studies consisted of 10 memes, 5 from each generation from Gen Zs and Gen Alphas. These were selected based on their popularity ratings, relevance to each generation, and their engagement metrics, which are based from their likes, shares, and comments. The memes collected were from platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Google. In the data gathering procedure, the data were collected through a systematic researching of relevant hashtags and keywords related to Gen Z and Gen Alpha meme content. Each meme was carefully categorized based on its visual and textual features, ensuring a comprehensive representation of each generation's communication style. The data were systematically collected to examine the multimodal features of Gen Z and Gen Alpha memes. Now, for the first step would be the collection of meme. The selection process focused on capturing a diverse range of popular and culturally significant memes that reflected the communication styles of each generation. Second step would be the categorization of multimodal features. So the selected memes were analyzed based on their multimodal elements, which included text, visuals, and design features. Each meme was categorized according to specific features such as humor style, visual symbolism, color schemes, font choices, and layout design. For phase 1, which is the linguistic features distinguishing Gen Alpha and Gen Z memes, in this phase, the analysis identified and categorized specific linguistic features that differentiated the memes created by Gen Z and Gen Alpha. This included the examination of slang, abbreviations, humor styles, and the use of digital jargons unique to each generation. By analyzing the textual components of memes, the study explored how language evolves and reflects the distinct communication styles of Gen Z and Gen Alpha. Followed by identifying specific meme formats and phrases, it has identified recurring phrases and visual symbols associated with each generation to assist how these contributed to cultural social expression. Now, for phase 2, which would be broader shifts in the digital communication norms, the final phase would explore how the multimodal components of Gen Z and Gen Alpha memes reflected broader shifts in digital communication practices. This involved a critical analysis on how these changes influenced the construction of identity and adapted to new social dynamics, with attention to how technological advancements shape evolving communication norms across generations.
So let's proceed to results and discussion. So let's answer first the research question. What linguistic feature distinguish memes created by Gen Alpha and Gen Z? Gen Z and Gen Alpha memes differ significantly in both language and visuals. Gen Z memes tend to rely heavily on text, often incorporating sarcasm, irony, and self deprecating humor. So these memes frequently touch on social or political topics using witty and complex language to engage audiences. Gen Z memes often include retro aesthetics and clever combination of images and words, such as using the word surfing in a visual context to mean suffering. So the study revealed that a Gen Z meme that uses the word surfing in a visual context to mean suffering. So this example demonstrates a key characteristic of Gen Z meme making. So Gen Z often uses wordplay and double meanings to create humor and engage their audience. So in this case, the word surfing is used in a way that is both literal and metaphorical. So the image might depict someone struggling to navigate a difficult situation, which is then linked to the idea of surfing, implying the act of struggling through something difficult. So this play on words creates a humorous and relatable message for those who understand the Gen Z slang and its implication. As for the Gen Alpha, so the study mentioned Gen Alpha memes often featuring gaming terminologies or viral slang like skibidi or sigma race. So this example highlights a few key aspects of Gen Z Alpha meme making. So Gen Alpha is deeply immersed in gaming culture, and this influence is evident in their meme making. So the use of gaming terminologies like CBD, skibidi, which originated from a popular video game, demonstrate their familiarity with gaming slang and their tendency to incorporate it into their communication. And Gen Alpha is also heavily influenced by viral trends and slang, which often originate from platforms like TikTok and YouTube. Sigmarise is an example of a phrase that gained popularity through these platforms, reflecting Gen Alpha's engagement with online trends and their ability to adopt slang quickly. Trust, Gen Alpha memes are more straightforward and visually dominant, so the language is simple and playful, often featuring gaming terminologies or viral slang like skibidi or sigma rays. The visuals in Gen Alpha memes lean towards absurd or random humor, often using bold and striking images, such as a flush chick holding a knife to create a sense of surprise or silliness. So these differences reflect each generation's unique way of engaging with humor and digital culture.
Now for the results and discussion for research question number 2, what can the analysis of meme language reveal about the broader shifts in the digital communication norms? So for Gen Z memes, as observed in the analysis, Gen Z have the tendency to use text-heavy, visually incorporated, irony-laden memes with retro aesthetics. So as these memes were more focused on brevity, humor, and relativity for online interaction, it is observed as a linguistic shift away from formal, lengthy communication toward a more visually based discourse. Gen Z memes were characterized with images and short phrases that carried much of the meaning, which allowed faster and more effective conversations. So, as these memes often relied on slang, irony, and absurdity, reflecting Gen Z's preference for quick, digestible content that conveys complex emotions or ideas in a highly efficient way. On the other hand, Gen Alpha memes were found to be leaning more on the visual and interactive and simplified form of social media expressions. As digital natives, Gen Alpha engaged in memes that has often blended playful humor, internet slang, and visual absurdity. Just like the Gen Zs, these memes have reflected the slow shift from traditional text-heavy communication to content that prioritize quick, relatable, and easily shareable interactions. So as observed, these memes were highly motivated by the gaming environment that Gen Alpha kids were exposed to. Memes in this generation often relied on gaming culture, viral trends, and pop culture references, which were also reflected in their slang terminologies. There is also the presence of hyper-exaggeration where Gen Alpha tend to appreciate and complement one another. This showed the influence of deeper integration of the digital media into the daily life, in which the language used in these memes demonstrated how the younger generations consume and produce content similar to Gen Zs that also embrace the importance of visual based discourse. For our conclusion, it was observed that both generations have embraced the important role of visual based discourse in the meme culture. Therefore, the memes from these two generations have demonstrated the flexibility and creativity of language, which allow deeper understanding on how digital platforms and collective participation are shaping the future of communication. And for our recommendation, further studies on the generational gaps of memes and meme making could offer a deeper understanding on how these generations engage with digital culture. As memes have been found to challenge the societal and political norms in the virtual world, even in the physical world, the present study would recommend exploring the increasingly usage of memes for political commentary and how these were used to express global issues. Studying this aspect could reveal how these generations used humor to critique and engage with the realities around them. And that is all for our report. Thank you for listening.